Hi there, students. A baseline. A baseline. Well, this is a datum line. This is used as a basis for calculation. You know, when you have a graph X and Y, then these are the baseline. Or for example, sometimes my blood pressure's a little bit high and the doctor measures it, and he measures it various different on various different occasions, and this gives him a baseline to show what it should be. So if you have a baseline, you use a baseline to decide what is normal. I'm very interested in reading people's body language, but it's impossible to read somebody's body language unless you have a baseline, unless you know them very well. So if they make a certain gesture the whole time, then it's not significant. But if they never do it, then this is unusual. So somebody who's always sitting forward talking to you, who's suddenly sitting back, that's a big variation from the baseline. Now, you can also use a baseline in tennis. And the baseline is the end line where you serve from. It's the baseline, but a baseline is normally a line serving as a basis for measurement, a basis for calculation, a basis for location. It's used as a basis for comparison. So if you're looking at something that is steadily getting stronger, you need a baseline. You need to know what it was. So for example, global warming. How do we know that the planet is warming? Because we have a baseline from temperatures from many years ago, and the baseline, or the current readings, are much higher than the baseline. So it's like a starting point. You could, or for example, when you have a debate and two sides debate an issue, normally before the debate starts, you have a show of hands to see what people think, and that is your baseline. Because after the debate, people vote again, and then you can see if there's any change from the baseline. And the team that has won is the team that has changed the baseline in their favour. So a baseline, a line on a sports field, such as in tennis, or in baseball as well, it's the line that marks out the diamond. And then a baseline is an imaginary line used as a starting point for making comparisons. Because if you measure something, you need to know where it normally is. Is it normally here, here, here? And you need some sort of zero, a baseline assessment. Okay, or a number that's used to compare other amounts to. And like that, you know if something has increased or decreased. For example, interest rates. What's a baseline interest rate? Well, this is the interest rate that you will normally be charged. And then you know if it's above the baseline or below the baseline. Okay, so it's the average, what is normal, what's expected, and then you know that something's below baseline or above baseline. For a level of quality, for a level of safety, the baseline is the minimum that's considered acceptable. So the baseline for something, the baseline for airline safety. Okay, so the baseline, it's the minimum point, it's the starting point for comparisons, because you need to know where you are comparing to. And You even have a baseliner in tennis, somebody who always plays from the baseline and never goes up to the net. It's normally an initial set of criteria or data to use as a control or as a comparison. Or you can have a baseline as a starting point, the baseline for a discussion. This experiment is only to provide a baseline for other studies. Any year or event we use as a baseline will be rather arbitrary. Okay, so a baseline, a baseline assessment, baseline characteristics, baseline cost, average cost, baseline data. Okay, so the baseline is a basis, a foundation, a standard, a datum line, a starting point. So you'll need information to use as a baseline for your measuring process. So I think this word I would use in science or maybe in business, in accountancy, something like that. What am I going to give it? Baseline. I think I'm going to give it a 6 in formality, but I think still use it anywhere. So, baseline.